Hi, John.
Hey, Alex.
Do you know who I hate?
Who you hate? Who do you hate?
Lord Byron.
You hate Lord Byron? Out of
Yes.
all of them? Why Lord Byron?
I thought it would be the most fun to say in the Alexx voice when I answer you. Lord Byron. It's
Lord
very pleasant.
Byron. It is nice to say.
Yeah. Because the other one is what? Percy Blythe Shelley. Like, it's, yeah. Lord Byron. So much more fun to say.
When you say it that way, it sounds more like a David Lynch as Gordon Cole kind of thing. Percy Blythe Shelley.
Yeah. I'm going to give you the weather report.
Right.
Oh, yeah. We watched The Bride.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz. Different types who wear a day coat, pants with stripes and cutaway coat, perfect fits. Putting on the Ritz.
Yes, this was I'm not sure what. It was a movie. It happened in front of my eyes. I think I love it, but recognize that it's kind of crap. Is that I know that's fair, but is that fair?
Yeah. It's a movie that 100% earns the exclamation point in the title, I would say. I'm with you. I'm not like, I had a similar reaction to when I first saw Southland Tales, where like, this is a movie just stuffed with ideas that it's a little bit more frenetic than Southland Tales, but it's just jam-packed with stuff. I don't think I'm going to come around to really loving it though, but I'm glad that it exists.
I think I'm with you on that entire point. My only, not complaint, but my only addendum is I feel like the editing isn't quite right. Holistically, because you're saying frenetic, and I feel like this wants to be more frenetic than it is.
Sure.
Like the pacing doesn't match what I think the writing is. And even though the director is the writer, but there's just something about I need this to be a little peppier and then I love it. But it's it's not, it's just not as quick as I'd like. So that's,
I don't know. I found the whole thing exhausting. So I don't know that'd be the case for me, but I think when they go into their flights of fancy of the dance numbers or whatever, those are a bit lackluster. And honestly, a lot of this movie feels like the Joker, the Todd Phillips Joker movies, and the musical numbers suck as well.
I more mean so the thing that there's a few examples over the course of the film, but the main one, and it's somewhat early in the film, is when they go to the underground dance club. That he's sitting there watching her, that takes a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And for what this movie wants to do, it's this is established. This is established. You've established it. Oh God, he's ordering another drink. It's established. You've established the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And there's a few examples of that where it's I want this to be peppier, because it reminds me of, and the movie does a very different thing, but it reminds me of what people thought Natural Born Killers was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where it was it's this crazy movie and they're running around. Really it's a meditation on violence, and there's cut scenes that are fast, but then there's it's really just kind of slow. There's a whole scene with a native person telling the story about the scorpion and the whatever. It's this is what people thought they were watching. And I'm I want it to be that. I want it to be those cut scenes.
Yeah.
That was a really weird analogy. I think people can follow that.
No, I think I get what you're saying.
Okay.
but yeah, so this is Maggie Gyllenhaal. This is her second film that she's directed. The first one is very much not like this. But this is the second film that she's directed. And this is, her take on The Bride of Frankenstein, which have you ever seen? The original Bride of Frankenstein, James Wales.
I've seen one of them. I'm trying to avoid this. I've definitely seen Frankenhooker.
Okay.
And I know it, but I've seen one of the black and white, the one with the stripe in her hair, but I was, under 10 years old when those were on Saturday morning, inexplicably in August,
Well, I had not seen it before, and I watched it after watching this because it was occurred to me. I'm I've seen Frankenstein. I haven't watched a lot of the super old, the Universal horror movies. But that movie is not really about the bride at all. It's about Frankenstein. And it's just a continuation of Frankenstein's adventures after presumably having perished in the first one. And this draws from that as well as from any other Frankenstein movie that exists, frankly.
Yes.
but it put the opening of the movie in context for me, because the opening of James Whale's Bride of Frankenstein is Lord Byron, Pierce Bryce Shelley, and Mary Shelley just hanging out, and Mary Shelley being like, you know what? I actually have another story. Let me lay it on you. And starts telling the story about this. The opening to Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride is Mary Shelley, played by Jessie Buckley, who is on maximum for like the whole movie.
Yes,
she's in this black void in black and white, and she starts talking about, hey, guess what, everyone? I had a story to tell, like the real story. The Frankenstein was just like the prologue. My real story was going to come up, but then I died, and I was held back because, you know, I'm a woman in the whatever hundreds. And so I'm going to tell you the real story. I'm going to show you what's what. And to do that, she possesses a Brooklynite dancer, mall party girl in the 30s named Ida, who, while being possessed, like mouths off to a mobster. Mobster throws her down the stairs, and then she eventually becomes the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Already that it's like, okay, so this because that's out of the blue, you know, that is nonsense. What just happened there. So that contextualizes a little bit, but it's still like this movie so overstuffed with wait, what? So you want to write your real story, and to do that, you're going to take over someone who lives in the universe that Frankenstein is actually in.
Yeah.
What? Like it doesn't make any sense, but it's like, if just, this is what we're doing, get on board. It's very confident about that.
So yeah, it opens with what you just described, but I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
To the point that I'm like, is this a flash forward that the bride is now functional and she's a party girl? Like, we're watching The Bride.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that's not there, but like, I was very confused for a while until I realized, like, yes, this is literally, or maybe not literally, but like the ghost of Mary Shelley. And, yeah, it's a whole vibe, a confusing vibe. And maybe it would be better in second watching, because I think I was confused for the first chunk enough that maybe I didn't give it full enough credit, or maybe I did, and it's just not. There's not.
I don't know. I think that confusion helped propel me forward, because I was a bit like, wait, what? And then when it really kind of becomes, you know, Natural Born Killers, Bonnie and Clyde, whatever you want to call it, yeah, I was losing interest. But
yeah, that part went a little, not even too long, but again, that's the kind of cutting I want to, like, just get it a little more efficient in some of the kind of some of the asides, because this is very much like it's different 8-minute movies strung together.
Yes, it's very disparate parts. I mean, it's a Frankenstein movie, and so they decided, let's make it a Frankenstein of other movies, and some bits of it work and some don't. So Christian Bale as Frankenstein lives in this universe, and he is seeing Dr. Euphorius, or what's her name?
Dr. Euphronius.
Dr. Euphronius, played by Annette Bening, and who he is surprised as a woman in 1930 Chicago. And turns out, yeah, he's a real guy, and she has work in reanimation. And he's like, I want your help, because basically he's experiencing Pon farr. Like Spock, like he has not gotten laid in centuries. He's over 100 years old, and he's losing his mind about it. And they try to dress it up with companionship, stuff like that, but really they lean pretty heavily on him needing to get some. When
he shows up, he's been alive for 100 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying?
Over 100 years, yeah.
And so he's never fucked in that time.
Apparently not.
Okay, so that's...
Sure, yep.
So after 100 years, after not having fucked that whole time for reasons, he decides he wants not just someone to fuck, but he's lonely, he wants a relationship, he wants a bride.
Right.
Okay, wait, I have to kind of fast forward. I'm just trying to word my thoughts in a way that doesn't spoil the entire rest of the movie. in this movie being like kind of a bit of like a feminist take on the topic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing that the doctor just went, oh yeah, I'll do that.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the lady doctor, it's just like basically the modern lady Frankenstein just goes, oh yeah, you want me to resurrect your corpse you can marry and fuck? Yeah. I'll do that tomorrow. It's just a strange choice, but like they put nothing on it. There's no like recompense. There's no guilt. They're just like, this happens. And they don't really discuss it.
They try to explain her actions a little later. And I don't think that really works. But I think it's a refreshing counterpoint, considering like every other woman you see in this movie is like, do you get it? Do you get how I'm being held back by men? Do you get it? Do you get it? And I think by having the bride be the sole person that like busts out of that.
Yeah.
With the doctor being like, yeah, no, that's just the way things work now. That's all us women are good for, despite me being a doctor. I think the idea is to have the bride really be the breakout of that. But then at the same time, so's Penelope Cruz is the detective, is that she's trying her own way, but she's just not audacious enough to do it.
Audacious enough. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Or, just the past is terrible. Well, I guess this is like a fictional past where we're resurrecting people left and right.
Right. Yeah. Like it's 1930s, but we're seeing 3D movies and whatever.
Yeah, and also like the music is, very not of the time, which I really like. I always like that. Like I'm a sucker for like music that doesn't belong in that time in movies.
Yeah, I mean it is a very stylized version of wherever and whenever. And that's an element that I didn't really get as well. Like we see Frankenstein going in his loneliness, going to movies by himself, and becoming enamored with a song and dance man played by Jake Gyllenhaal, Maggie Gyllenhaal's brother, who's fine. I like seeing Jake Gyllenhaal. He's fun.
So coming into this movie, what I knew was the poster and that Maggie Gyllenhaal had directed it. By the time I'd watched it, I'd forgotten the whole Maggie Gyllenhaal of it all because I was like, the bride. So Frankenstein, old Frankie boy, is in the theater watching this old timey movie starring Ronnie Reed. And I see the side of his face. I'm like, wait, is that fucking, oh my God, it's Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, why the fuck is Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie? And it took me, I'm like, oh yeah, his sister directed this. But it was just such a trip because like, that is not who, like, he obviously plays the part well. He's a good actor, but it was such a weird thing until I put the pieces together. Like, oh yeah, sister directs it. Her husband's in this too.
But it just didn't, his obsession with that character, with that actor or whatever, like, didn't really feel like it belonged in the whole movie. I think Christian Bale is great in this. And like he's also kind of operating up there a bit. But like when I think about his performance in something, like the Thor movie he was in, like this is like he's actually like emoting and doing things. And it feels like he's a little bit more committed here and having a good time with it.
Yeah. With him being obsessed with him, the same way, I don't really feel like it tracks. And not that they needed to hang a hat on it, but I think in Maggie Gyllenhaal's head, it's much more obvious to us that because he sees himself in him because he's got a shorter leg.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so Frankenstein's like, oh, that's like me. I'm, one part of me's different than the other. Like, that's the metaphor. But I feel like Maggie Gyllenhaal like really thinks that hit a lot harder than it did. Because I feel like it's light, and then it's just kind of this weird obsessive guy instead of this is the first time I've seen myself and like, really reflection of me in a movie. And he didn't. It's strange. Also, you got to tell me if there's a Frankenstein movie in this reality. Like, is Boris Karloff in this reality?
Right, yeah. I think that's a very good question. But I do think that it does speak a little bit to the kind of, I don't know, there's a lot of, obviously there's a lot of modern sensibilities in this movie. And one of those being a more kind of internet view of the world, in that like there's a lot of parasocial stuff going on. And I think that's an example of that, where he sees himself and he develops his whole relationship. And then eventually when the bride is resurrected, she doesn't remember who she is. And he basically feeds her a story about who she is. Cause it doesn't, because he makes it sound like she died in an accident, came back after an accident, and she's, she just doesn't remember. And so he's filling in her lost memory. So he's making up this person to have a relationship with. So all these like phony relationships. And then just, we'll get to that more with the end, but like when she starts to develop this, like they have a big showdown with the cops at one place. And then it starts to develop this army of lookalikes of her. That feels like this much more like internet, like flash mob, like that would
100%.
spread immediately and people are on board versus it being the 30s. And no, that just seemed very forced. But
it didn't go anywhere really. It was just kind of this beat in the movie that didn't really like play into it. And that of the Joker of it all, that actually is from the Joker.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, like there's a little tiny bit at the end, but it just, okay.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of the credits, there's a little thing, but it was a long way to go for not much. And then the fact that their call to arms, their battle cry is brain attack, because she said that when they were standing up with the cops, because Jessie Buckley is like flipping between Ida, flipping between Penelope, which is what they kind of decide the bride's name is, or he kind of convinced her, as like different characters. And then Mary Shelley as well, who's got this very posh British accent. So she just is acting like Robin Williams for a lot of this, where she'll just go off on these tangents. And one time when that's happened, she goes, brain attack. And then all these women that are like breaking out of society's shackles are shouting brain attack, which is just real funny.
See, that's the movie that I like that's in this movie, but I think it needs to be more of that. Like the like, as campy and as weird as this is, I think it's like a little, like at times a little too stolid, where it's like, no, I want more of that. I want more brain attack. I want more, like as the movie slowly goes on and you realize that this is just a pastiche of every Frankenstein thing. And like, especially when he's imagining himself dancing the first time, you're like, oh, that's funny. They're doing a Mel Brooks Young Frankenstein reference. And that's all you're thinking is going to happen at the time. Because you're like, oh yeah, look, he's imagining himself at that one scene when he's alone in the movie before he meets the bride. That's funny. There's a Young Frankenstein reference. Little do we know what's going to happen later in the film. Yeah. So in looking this up, I always forget how ridiculous this night is. So Mary Shelley writes Frankenstein. She's in this like cabin in Geneva, Switzerland. She's there with Lord Byron, some doctor guy, and Percy Shelley. The doctor guy. So she goes on, they're like, hey, let's write a ghost. Let's like spooky stories together. Mm-hmm. That doctor guy ends up writing a little short story called The Vampire, which is one of the foundational texts of what we see as vampires in the West. She goes off and writes Frankenstein. And then Lord Byron, you know who his kid is?
Max Landis.
No, Ada Lovelace. Like one of the first computer programmers ever. Right. And like some people say the term computer bug comes from her. I don't think that's true, but she's famous enough that people make up stories around her. Mm-hmm. What a fucking ridiculous, like, and they're just chilling in a house. It's like, oh, there's 4 things off the top of your head that it's changed history. And they're just young idiots in a house in Geneva, Switzerland.
Right. Yeah.
Man, which is the money must rule.
Yeah. Well, there's one time I hung out with a bunch of my friends and we started to develop a competitive card game based on Human Centipede. And that was fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, a deck building game. Yeah. You could try to sabotage the other person's Human Centipede by giving them like a guy with food allergies or something.
Oh, that'd be fun. Oh, I'm just imagining the commercial of like
patent pending, by the way.
There's little kids playing, and then the guy turns to his sister and goes, "Oh, I got the middle."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because the middle's the worst part of the Human Centipede.
Yeah, undoubtedly. I mean, the end isn't any good. I mean,
yeah, but the end, at least your ass isn't sewn to someone.
I guess that's true. You have a tiny bit of freedom.
I mean, obviously the front is the best. Like you still have your ass sewn to someone, but like, obviously that's the best one.
Yeah.
Second place is the end. And then the middle is obviously the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unless you're into that kind of stuff, you know?
Right.
No, even if you're into that kind of stuff, like we don't kink shame here, but I am shaming that.
I think you'd probably get tired of it. I think you'd be like, well, this was not what I expected it to be. This was fun, but it's not an all day thing for me. I just like to do this maybe for about half an hour.
Oh yeah. So anyway, the reason I was bringing up the writer thing, well, one, just because every time I think about Frankenstein, I think that night it's so weird, the kind of waves that affected the rest of history of just these people, you know, presumably just getting drunk and telling spooky stories to each other. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to imagine that turning into the actual Mary, like the actual Mary Shelley being the Mary Shelley of this movie, of going like,
Right.
yeah, but what about a sequel? Like, it's just, I mean, maybe that happened, but in my head, it's like, that seems so like, so not the thing I recognize.
Right. Well, it's also, the fact that it made it sound like that she wrote this, and in subsequent drafts, they were like, there's too much dames in it. Make it about a guy.
Yeah.
Whatever. For the purposes of this movie, fine. Sure. Why not?
Do you
But
remember
just the coming back from the dead to take over someone's body but once she has the body, it's unclear what her goal is. It's unclear what she wants to do throughout the entire movie.
Yes.
And then when she's like the big moment that's supposed to be this like realization that you're the bride, not the bride of Frankenstein, not whatever, you're the bride. Okay. I was a person before you did this to me. What did I gain from all this?
I don't know. And part of the reason, I was looking around and I didn't find one. I didn't do that much looking because like I don't want to watch a 45-minute essay on this. But I would like I went to school for this feminist reading of this, and
I majored in Frankenstein.
Well, that'd be cool. I mean, I kind of did. But like somebody that like knows like modern feminist theory, like tell me what I'm supposed to think here. Like, I love this movie. I'm not taking away from it. I feel like I'm just I feel like there's a chunk or like a throughput that I'm somewhat missing. Like, I think the whole Mary Shelley in her head and her being the bride, I think there's a kind of feminist thing going on there that I'm too dumb to pick up on. Which is too male or both. Yeah.
Which is funny because they will literally hit you over the head with, well, literally is not a word there, but like they will hit you over the head with other things. Like the line where there's the bit where they keep saying "me too" a lot. Like that's, I mean,
that
come
was
on.
Weird.
Well, yeah, it's like, could you be any more obvious with it? Which, fine, this is a big brassy movie. Sure, go ahead and do that. But then, yeah, some of it is inscrutable.
Inscrutable is a very good word to describe this movie.
Yeah, I don't know if you're supposed to. I don't know if it's just, if it's like jazz. This is just what I was feeling in the moment. But it's a singular vision. I will give it that. And I have to, in a Mandalorian and Grogu world, I have to give it credit for that.
Yeah. In OG Frankenstein, did he have any like remnant thoughts from his old brain?
I don't think so.
Right? That's my memory of it, but it's been quite a few years before.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, it's not like who he was before or anything like that. Particularly because he's made up of other bodies, and so who's remembering what? That's why
one, the kind of the main idea of like, okay, I bring her back. The Dr. Euphronius is talking to Frank, and she calls him a monster. She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, you're a monster, but like I know your name now. You're Frank."
Yeah.
And I also like that he's been around for 100 years and hasn't bothered to name himself, which is kind of amazing. But Dr. Euphronius says, why did he put a bunch of different parts together to make you? Like, why not just do one? I don't understand that. It's not in any of his notes. And I love that idea. And I love the idea of like, oh yeah, like Dr. Frankenstein just kind of sucked at this. Like he could have just done it with one guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what she does. She literally does it with one girl.
I think in the Guillermo del Toro one, I think they specifically talk about like how they needed it, like the body parts to be big because they for the blood flow or something like that. But then if a guy has a big arm, you'd think he'd have a big rest of his body. But he could have been Popeye. So I don't know.
Yeah, well,
just a graveyard
Popeye might be a
Popeyes.
Frankenstein.
Popeye might be a Frankenstein.
Yeah. But yeah, bringing back the bride as just one person.
Yeah.
Like we just got a singular body dug up and resurrected is such like a, oh yeah, why the hell did he put it together, Bubba? Because I've never had that thought. I've known about Frankenstein my entire fucking life. It has never occurred to me. I'm like, yeah, why don't I just get the whole fucking guy?
Yeah, I don't know if it was just like because we could only get these pieces or whatever. Because I know a lot of my knowledge of Frankenstein comes from the Frankenstein I've seen the most, which is Young Frankenstein. Yeah. And that is just one guy. That is just they just get one body and they put an abnormal brain in it.
Oh yeah, I remember that scene. The Frankenstein I know the most, and Bride of Frankenstein I know the most, is from Monster Bash Pinball. And I feel like I really have the intricacies of both of their characters down because of it. Okay, so she gets resurrected. Dr. Euphronius wants to kind of hold on to them for studying. Neither of them really want to do that, so they escape through a window, which is like, go fuck off, Dr. Euphoronius. And I kind of love this of like, yeah, we just need him to come back to life. We don't need this lady in the whole fucking movie. So they just write her out by, yeah, there's a window.
Right, yeah. Guys, it's like they're young and in love. I mean, they're not young, but she is the bride in terms of amount of time she's been alive. And that it is this sort of like youthful rebellion that Frankenstein is now propelled by love to I just want to be with this person and run away. And
I guess the discussion on him, so he brings her back, and then, the love concept is interesting. So he brings her back, and the only lie is that he says, you were injured. She overhears Dr. Euphoronius referring to her as his bride. He doesn't actually say it in the early parts of the film.
Right.
Because I just like the idea of consent and him, like how much he's lying to her and how much of this manipulation. He basically just says you were injured, which I feel like is an acceptable lie to tell to a resurrected corpse. It's your first day back. After that point, is it still, I guess, like, where does he become a piece of shit? Is kind of because obviously he's a piece of shit. He's lying to her. He's with her under false pretense. But like the first night that she kind of falls for him when he curb stomps those guys that were trying to rape her. I shouldn't say that word. Sorry. Yeah, whatever.
Curb stomping is acceptable.
Oh, I meant the other one. Yeah, it's Steve. Probably in my like high shrill voice is screaming that word is probably not something like, oh, I want to listen to a fun podcast. But trying to do bad things in an alley, and yeah, okay, I'm kind of falling in love with him. But then it's like, there's a lot of lies that kind of bolster this love, and it's a weird because at some point he's 100% in the wrong, and he's coercing with lies this woman to be his bride. But also, they do have a meet cute fall in love, so there's this interesting kind of dichotomy happening.
Well, it's also that she is, she's created, he wants someone to create a dead body for him. He doesn't really care who it is. So it's just, she is invented, as it were, to be a tool for his pleasure. Whether or not that's just carnal, clearly he wants something more than that, but that is a huge part of it. And they really spend time with that. But it does seem like he's, it's not like he's overly controlling of her or anything. Like when she's at the bar dancing with the guys, it's fine until it isn't. You know what I mean? Like they step over the line. He's like, hey, look at my wife dance over there. I'm going to drink. But then, then he murders the one of them. And is also like, get away from me. I'm bad for you. Go be your own person. But then when she does hang around and she starts asking questions, he's not straight with her. So
yeah,
he's not, I don't want to make this sound like he's off the hook or anything, but I don't think it's wholly malicious.
Oh yeah. I don't think it's malicious. I think it's lying by omission kind of thing. He's shitty by omission,
right. Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that does kind of play into like the actual Frankenstein's monster thing of, it's Frankenstein is actually the monster, and the monster is, this innocent person. But there also is, this innocent person, but then he's murdering the shit out of a bunch of people.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a thing of like, oh yeah, I guess maybe you're coming from an innocent place. The world is shitty. You don't know how to react to it. So you kill that girl by the lake, which I don't know if that, or curb stomp that guy outside the
right. Yeah. Like the Frankensteins have been presented differently over the years. Like we talked about in the Del Toro one that they really kind of sanded the edges off of those characters because he's pretty malicious in the original story, the monster, but he,
I keep forgetting that's Del Toro. Every time you say it, I'm like, what is oh yeah, that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I've kind of forgotten it too. But the fact that he also is a little bit less, he's not just like, all right, you're alive, let's do it. He's very afraid of being close with someone. So I think he still feels bad about his body, whatever. And to the point where she's trying to make a move on him, trying to pull his pants down. He stops. He's like, no way. Which got me thinking, like, yeah, did you give him a penis, or is it just a blank slate and you wrote, if you can read this, you're gay on it? Or what'd you do?
That would be the funniest 18th century joke ever.
Yeah. But then they eventually, after a wild night of messing with the cops. They have sex in a very kind of tepid sex scene. For as passionate as this movie is, it's just kind of like, here's some scars. Look at them slam together.
Oh yeah, I guess that first one is because like I think they cut to another sex scene where it's like she's this like big orgasmic one. That's two separate scenes, right?
I believe so.
Okay, they kind of blend. That middle part kind of blends together a little bit.
Yeah, because it's kind of it gets to be. It's not that like the same thing is just happening over and over again, but it's I don't know. This movie throws a lot at you, so it's tough to remember all of it.
Speaking of which, during this time, they escape from Frank's curb stomping. They get on a train. There's a cop on the train. Unfortunately, she pushes the cop off the train. He gets his neck cracked and dies. Thus gets two detectives on the case. Peter Sarsgaard, the director's husband, and Penelope Cruz, playing Myrna Malloy and Jake Wiles. Which I would like to say, in a movie that I did genuinely like, I have very few complaints about, but I think both of them kind of sucked and they needed better actors in those roles.
Yes,
both of them.
Yeah. I don't really like, I've not really liked Penelope Cruz in any of her English speaking roles. And I haven't seen all of them, but I like just not a huge fan, but I think this in particular, it's like, this is another movie they shoved into this movie where like they're like Bonnie and Clyde, natural born killers, true romance side of things where, yeah, they're being followed by these cops and the cops sort of mirror the relationship of men and women to what the movie's trying to say, like about men and women, because he's always holding her back and Penelope Cruz is the one doing the actual detective. Even though there's a little bit more of an understanding there if he's like, no, I know, but I'm working the room while you do the hard work. I just don't give you any credit for it.
Yeah, he refers to himself as being his girl Friday.
Right.
Which I actually thought was somewhat endearing of him, like especially for that time of him putting himself in both a subservient and a feminine role and understanding that she's the brains of the operation while also, being a man and, taking all the credit. But,
sure.
I guess it's with the understanding of like, she couldn't be a lead detective? Question mark? I mean, but this is a fantastical reality. Right. Obviously we can't. We can't.
And I think, I don't really like, and there ends up being a tie with her and with him and the bride of when she was Ida. But like, they spent a lot of time with them and it's just, I'm not that interested in that. You've set up this other story and now you're bringing these people in and I kind of don't care.
So I wonder two things. I wonder if that's a reference to a previous Frankenstein movie, if there's a detective or something like that following him, and the way I took it originally is that's like a Poirot, which Poirot is I would say written by the most famous British female author, which Mary Shelley,
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, exactly. Probably third most fun because she's doing an accent that isn't hers, and it just I don't know, it just a well put together, fastidious detective smoking cigarettes just felt like Poirot coded to me, but gender swapped, which fits the whole vibe of the movie. But then also leaves me of why the fuck is that in the movie? Either way you read it, I get to why the fuck is that in the movie? But in my head, if that was a better actress doing a gender swap Poirot, I'm like, oh, I'd be kind of into that. Like that's cool. But whatever she was doing, I wasn't there for it. It felt really weird. There was no chemistry between them. I didn't like him at all. I don't know him as an actor really, but
he's fine. But yeah, there's just there really wasn't. And I think that's like why is this in the movie is largely how I felt in those scenes, simply because you have this as I said, so many ideas going on in this movie, and we've been following along these people in their crazy journey, and then to just all of a sudden we're taking this left turn to deal with these people. And it's like, yeah, we're already doing this. It felt like just all the, like, thematically what it was trying to do. It's like, we're in the midst of this. Why am I seeing you? It just was a little bit too much, but it
does pull you away from it a lot and doesn't, I think it's part of the issue I have with the movie. The movie is a mess if you think about it plot wise. Like that's all the time. You just have to accept that it's not a well put together movie on a certain level. And I think them being woven into the plot like kind of almost shines a light on it because they're detectives trying to like put a logical spin on this. And the movie kind of relies on, this is illogical. This is bouncing around. There's fantastical. There's dream sequences that are dream sequences, but then there's dream sequences that are also real. And then there's like So she's possessed by Mary Shelley. But I think there's scenes where like they're putting out like possession aura and take over people around them.
Because there's some moments where it tries to blur the lines of reality.
There's quite a few. The one that I'm thinking of is so on they're running to various states and whatever, trying to get away from the law. And they're tracking them by, the two detectives we're discussing are tracking them by going to the theaters that are playing Ronnie Reed's motion pictures. At one point, they're running away from that. They go to a screening of a 3D movie, and then they see a guy getting handsy with his girl, and it becomes a whole, there are actual monsters in the theater, and it's actually kind of a funny sequence, very Ed Wood. That leads to them hiding out in like a fancy schmancy hotel thing. They do the old, we're pretending to be waiters, which is Christian Bale flipping his suit inside out so it's white and carrying a plate of champagne, and he's, hideous, and it's the grossest, like it's barely white anymore. The inside of his jacket is just stained. And lovely sequence that went on too long, but Ronnie Reed is there, Jake Gyllenhaal. And the whole parasocial thing happens. They have this really awkward conversation, which I feel like Ronnie Reed was actually being very gracious about it.
Yeah.
Because Christian Bale's giving this whole speech of like, remember 10 years ago you looked at me that one time? And he's like, yeah, it's great, buddy. Like, good for you. Like, it's really, for an actor, for a very most famous man in the world, doing a good job. But this leads to a dance sequence, which we've had dream sequences of dancing throughout this film. Because Frank likes dancing, likes watching dancing movies by Mr. Ronnie Reed.
And imagines himself in them.
Yes, he puts himself in there. There's one of the meet cute moments is Frank tries to give the bride his umbrella in the same way that Ronnie Reed does in the film, the umbrella, as like a walking stick. And, there's some cute moments of that. But it leads to this, where there's a full-out dance sequence in this, fancy schmancy hotel, place, where everybody else gets involved in the dancing. And you're like, oh, well, this is a dream sequence during the course of an action sequence. But then some of the people in the dream sequence start acting like they're fighting against the dream sequence almost. Mm-hmm. Like they're like trying to wake up in like a fighting Kilgrave kind of way, to make a Marvel reference, because I'm broken as a man. The cops run in, the detectives were discussing, and I think they see the music sequence. They see the dancing sequence, which, by the way, audience, it's to putting on the fucking Ritz.
Right.
It's from the song from Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
They did the thing.
Yeah.
They did it. And at that point I went, oh, this movie's amazing. I don't care if it's not good. This movie's amazing.
Right. Yeah. It's a little bit like you went for it. And we'll get to the ending. I don't even know if I want to spoil that bit, but that final needle drop is like, absolutely you did it.
We need to, a very rare, we'll put the spoiler warning before there, because I don't want to, I feel like if someone's going to watch this, I feel like the plot is less important to be spoiled than what happens there.
But and that happens again, that kind of weird blurring, because later they're at a drive-in, which I did look up, like they did exist during that time. There certainly weren't that many of them, but normally we typically associate drive-ins with like the 50s and a little bit onwards from that. But they're at a drive-in, and one or both of them starts imagining themselves on the screen, having a conversation as the characters on the screen. And there's a point where a guy in another car looks at it and then looks back at them. And I don't know, because it ends up being that the cops have followed them and they're on a sting or whatever, that there's plenty of cars of cops in there. And I don't know if that's supposed to be this like sleight of hand, Clarice Starling ringing the doorbell kind of thing, but it really makes it seem like, what are they doing up on the screen?
So that's the thing is, I feel like this movie I don't think has answers. I think this movie just,
absolutely
there's vibes,
not.
But
yeah,
in that part, because Penelope Cruz is is snuck behind the car listening to them.
Yeah.
She is hearing them, then looks at the screen like, why is that coming from the screen?
Right.
Which is interesting, because it is this like, because we're living in a world where you can possess someone, like an old author can possess someone. Is this like, do they have psychic vibrations going out and this like shared hallucination is happening? It's or is it just vibes? It's just the way they wanted the movie to go.
Well, and honestly, like, hats off to Mary Shelley in this movie, because she's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to possess this woman. I got more stories to tell. I'm going to possess this woman. I'm not going to do any writing. I'm not going to do a single bit of writing.
I hear that. As a writer, I fucking hear that, man. Oh, finally, I have all the time to write. I'm going to go see a movie.
Yeah, I'm going to go do some crimes.
In looking the movie up after I finished watching, somebody referenced that in the movie theater, and I didn't double check this, but in the theater, apparently there aren't any speakers. Like the little poles that you put speakers on.
Right.
Which lends a little bit of maybe it is them projecting the sound. Like them doing like psychic sound, whatever, magic, whatever the fuck's happening. Dead people magic times is happening. Or it's just they didn't put the little sticks that you put your speakers out in the movie. Like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I remember going to one that you, I mean, this was obviously in the 80s, but where you tuned in your radio.
Yeah, that's much later. Yeah, I've been to that. I think that's the only one I've been to. I don't think I've ever been to the one with the
crappy speakers on the.
Yeah. But I think that's like a much later invention.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're bringing bodies back from the dead, so.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, maybe they have really advanced radio. Yeah, in this world, they've got like a 1915 Howard Stern is on their version of XM.
But it is in that, going back, that is in that dance sequence where she does her big, like she ends up like pulling a gun on the cops and gives a whole speech about how men are holding women back. And that's when you get the brain attack moment and you get that little beat of, dames across the nation, lashing out. They're getting uppity. Yeah.
And they cut to these scenes of like people with their makeup on. I mean, literally lifted from like the Joker movie they've painted their face. They've got their black tongue like the bride has. And they're going around, doing yelling. Are they doing crimes? Are they killing people? What exactly is happening?
They're just being unladylike.
Oh,
they're not riding
which is the worst crime.
Yeah, that's terrible. They're having ideas. We should mention the reason if you've seen the poster that she's got the splotch on her face is that Dr. Euphronius, whatever her procedure is to bring people back to life, involves some sort of liquid, and she coughs it up and it sprays when she's brought back to life, and it splatters her face, dyeing it that color, that black splotch. That becomes her mark and the thing people really attach to her or identify her with.
Her fingers have it too, and it's both kind of cool and also like gross, which I think is I think where it needs to be.
Yeah.
I that's the part where I keep trying to think of the age group for this movie, and I feel like high school me and any kind of art school girl that I was friends with back then, which was most of my social group, I think would have really popped for this movie. Mm-hmm. Just like the visuals, the stain on their cheek. Like, I feel like a couple of my high school girlfriends, I could imagine doing that outfit for Halloween.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some of that this year. I mean, I don't think this became, this obviously wasn't a big hit or anything, but I think it's got much of a niche. It's kind of got a cult appeal to it that you're going to see some of that.
I would be surprised if this doesn't get a cult following. This has all the pieces of it, and that there's like this almost like like under the Silver Lake level of like there's layers to every scene, but kind of weird, and you don't know how much you're supposed to read into it.
Right.
But you're like, oh, I think there's going to be obsessives that are going to figure out every little reference.
I'm fascinated to see. It's going to be like Room 237. Where it's like the stuff people come up with, you're like, okay, sure, all that's there. I don't know how you jump to that conclusion, but I also don't know if there's a there in some of this stuff, but it's enjoyable to watch. Well, some of it is, because like I said, this movie didn't really vibe with me, but it's like, I can appreciate it for what it is. It is interesting that, like, to me, cause when we were in high school just last year, because we're young hip guys, but that idea of like some of these weirder cult psychotronic stuff, was they were often harder to come by. You know what I mean? Like they might be at Blockbuster Video, but you had to search for them a bit. And I feel like while much of popular culture is, not to overuse the slop meme, but there's this kind of, the Marvelization, Netflix, whatever, like however you want to call it, this sort of, there's the popular culture that's put out there that's all kind of flat and the same or whatever. But this stuff's pretty accessible as well. And so I'm wondering, like, how, if you grow up in this environment where you can just sort of see whatever, whenever, how does this movie hit? If you're a young high schooler?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But I don't know. That's a legitimate question, because some people might see this and go, hell yeah, this is my entry to that kind of weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean that was somewhat my read of it when I was saying like I would have loved this in high school, because I'm imagining watching this in my head. I'm in high school during this time. Because I know how fucking pretentious I would have been to like, oh, Marvel movies. I would have been tired of Marvel movies before everybody else got tired of them, because that's how pretentious I was at that age. Like, I would have been such a fucking prick. And I feel like this movie would be like, oh, finally they're doing it. Like, this is the kind of movie. This is what Hollywood should be making.
Now, that being said, that's exactly how I am now, where I'm tired. I've already crapped on Mandalorian and Grogu in the Marvel movies. But like, I want there to be tons more movies like this. That like, even if I don't like it, this was... She went for it. She made this movie, and like, it doesn't feel like it was workshopped at all, which is great. Just go for it.
No. To be fair, you're right in the way you feel about Marvel.
No, I'm right in
wrong.
general.
I'd be saying it when The Avengers came out, which is like, it is demonstrably a great like popcorn movie. The movie's amazing. If I saw that and I was in high school, I'd be like, yeah, that bullshit. Yeah, fuck those guys.
You know what's funny is there's this trend among some of the people I follow, some of the critics I follow on Blue Sky. There was one of those like prompts that was like, okay, for one like, I'll tell you something positive about a movie I don't like. Like in an effort to spread positivity or whatever, you have bullshit you want to couch it. They're like, I'll say something positive about a movie or a piece of media that I just don't like. And one of them was a guy who's very much a curmudgeon that I follow, like, posted the Avengers, a clip from the Avengers. And he was like, this scene got me. And it's the stupid, puny God scene, which from the jump I've been against.
Oh, really? Oh,
I hate it. I just hate the like joke incoming. Get ready for a joke, everybody.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I've been a shithead since day one.
Yeah, I mean, fair. You're ahead of the curve. I think that movie is perfect for what it is.
It's totally fine. Like that first run of Marvel movies is totally fine. Yeah, maybe not Thor, but the rest of them are all right.
Yeah. Okay, let's stop talking about it. And I can't believe I'm saying that. They have the amazing Putting on the Rith dance sequence. Escape from that, they go to the movie theater sequence. I don't remember what caused it, but they decide to go back to Dr. Euphroneous.
Well, wait,
no, what happened?
So they like that the cops are following. We get this extended sequence where like cops are following them, and then they decide like, well, let's go to the different movies, and then they figure out, okay, well, Frank is going to. They figure out he's going to go to Niagara Falls because like that was a big romantic thing in this Ronnie Reed movie, and that's probably where they're headed. So they track him up there, and then they get Frank and her finally have this. She has the realization that he's been lying to her, that this hasn't been the case at all, that she's reanimated and she's trying to figure out who she is. And then they end up getting into a tussle with the police. Police shoot Frank. And yeah. And so she's like, oh crap. Well, I feel this responsibility. Like I have this tie to him. Like I'm angry at him, but I still love him. I don't know. I got to go back to Dr. Euphronia and see if she can do something about it. And this is a thing. And so we're getting, I mean, we've already spoiled a bunch of it, but like, this is really super spoiler heavy territory. So, 45 minutes in the podcast, I'll drop this. But like Dr. Euphorius gives a whole speech about how she started doing this and she reanimated her husband. And when she reanimated her husband, or like this guy she loved, he didn't remember her.
Yeah.
And then they do it again, and we're supposed to be like, oh, but they love each other. They're back and they remember each other this time. What?
Okay.
I know I'm jumping to the end there, but like that's
we're kind of at that
thing.
point in the movie. I think from this movie perspective, them being resurrected for the second time, I feel like that's enough of a hand wavy. Yeah, they keep their memory the second time. Like it doesn't like, I'm not saying there's any real backing to it, but like, I'm okay with like in this world of like, yeah, if it works the second time, you keep your memories, whatever. Like, it's the trauma only happens once. Now we're good.
Right. But if you also look at it like that, their love transcends that they're destined to be together or something, then it really kind of undercuts all your other stuff about being your own person. And being the bride and figuring out who your own self. Cause she again has this conversation with Mary Shelley, who interrupts her in her head occasionally. And Mary Shelley basically lays out to her that you're not any of these people now. You're the bride. I've made you into something different and special.
Yeah. Weird thing there. I do like when they get back to the house that apparently she's killed and resurrected her assistant.
Yes. Yeah.
That's interesting. Or maybe not killed, but like her assistant is now a bride and has the same face splotch, which, or is the assistant one of the followers and she's just doing the makeup?
Right. Yeah. Could be.
Yeah.
Either one. I say this a lot. It really doesn't.
Oh, no,
matter.
not at all. Yeah.
It does, like, okay, either way works, I guess. It's fine. That is actually, I forget the name of that actress, but that is Elaine May's daughter in a bit of stunt casting. She's been an actress in her own right. Janine Berlin is her name. And she was in a bunch of stuff. The Heartbreak Kid. She's in some Succession, which I have not watched.
Oh, really? Okay. I've watched all of
and
Succession.
The Fablemans, which I have also not seen.
Didn't recognize her, but I definitely know her because I watched that show.
But yeah, because then the cops show up and shoot her down, and then Euphorius is like, well, all right, well, I'll resurrect you, I guess.
Yeah, well, the female detective shows up, like, hey, I'm taking power to this room. I'm the detective in charge, and the men are like begrudgingly, all right, I'll listen to you. Look at this skirt. And she basically goes, hey, clean this stuff up. Take as long as you want. Wink. Because she's down with it, and leaves to allow this again, which is an interesting choice because she doesn't know anything about their love really, other than overhearing one conversation. So she's basically just saying, yes, please resurrect these serial killers for me. A detective.
Kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting choice. Yeah. The one thing we did skip though, the bride, when as Ada was killed on the behest of Lupino, the local gangster.
Right.
So I just need to say, this Zlatko Buric, whatever, I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah.
Is having a great fucking run. Because that man...
It's going good for him.
That man's in Superman. He's in the Wonder Man show. And now he's in The Bride. And a whole bunch of other stuff. But like, for a guy that's... I don't know if he's over... There's a hill involved with his age. I don't know if he's over it. I don't know if he's on... But that man is...
Oh, he's well over it.
But he is... And he's not... His face isn't the most like... actory face you'd ever see, and this guy is he's just book shit, and good for him.
Yeah, I got familiar with him through Nicholas Winding Refn stuff. He's in Pusher.
Oh, that's right. I remember you saying that in
Pusher movies, and then
Superman or something.
then Copenhagen Cowboy. He's got a smaller role in that, but yeah, great, good job, that guy. Way to be a weird old man and get those roles.
Yeah,
but that again felt like very specific. Again, for this sort of wider point about women being held back. It's like. Yeah, but these are mafia guys. These are shithead mobsters. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit different. And I know they want to try to do the dichotomy of even the cops are a little bit like that. But just it's like, yeah, these guys are monsters. Why? Oh, but they're also sexist. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, it's
he's like, I have this collection of tongues of people that I've killed and had cut out, but hey, I'm also not cool to women.
I guess.
All right.
Again, it's one of those things that like the things that propel the plot aren't important and don't really, they don't really matter. I just want to call him out because like, man, this guy's like feels like he showed up everywhere, and it's just that's not the kind of guy you'd expect. Like, oh, now I'm going to see him at everything, like blockbustery stuff. Not that it's blockbustery, but things that make it to a theater. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a sizable budget. Anyway,
shit.
Thing just kind of
80 to 90 million. I was thinking this was a little. Yeah, it does look good. So yeah, that makes sense.
Her first movie was like 15 million or something like that. Like it was a lot smaller. Yeah, I don't know. I'm unsure of what this movie is trying to say. It seems very much like a very loud, drunk person trying to tell you a story, and they've lost the plot. They don't even remember what it's really about, but just an old man telling an anecdote or something that just, oh, that's when the hats cost $2. Yeah. And I know that because I went over here. It just kind of goes all over the place, but I'm having a good time listening to it. It didn't, like I said, the amount it didn't work for me overpowers the amount that it did work for me, but I'm glad it's there. I just couldn't get on board.
As you describe it that way, I think that's actually really works because what this is told by is a ghosty lady inside of another dead lady. Right. So it is kind of like a drunk uncle or whatever, not in that way, but like it's like a half remembered spirit inside of a dead body trying to tell a story.
Yeah, I've been living in this black void forever. Yeah. I don't know how to communicate with other people. So here's my best shot at it.
I'm Mary fucking Shelley. I don't know what a drive-in is. Jesus Christ.
Right. Cut me some slack.
Do you know how much I had to describe New York? I could put the fucking all those fucking buildings, man. I'm Mary Shelley.
I nailed it pretty much. Like I've not seen it at all.
I hung out at a house with like weird opium-addict gay guys. I don't know fucking shit about this. I think this movie is 100% worth a watch. I don't think it's particularly good, but I shouldn't even say that. There's a lot of really great stuff in it. I don't think it holds together as one cohesive good movie, but totally worth watching. I feel like if if someone says this is like my favorite movie, I don't really have an argument with them because like, yeah, the vibe, like you just got the vibe on that way.
Right.
Yeah, there's
I really can't say enough good things about Jessie Buckley too. Like she's just going ham on this stuff.
She is really good. I don't really know her that much from a lot of stuff. And yeah.
The only things I've seen her in, there's a short film that was on Criterion that Charlie Kaufman did that I'm forgetting the name of now. She was pretty good in. And then Alex Garland's Men, which was very not good, but I remember enjoying her.
I didn't see that. Although I like Alex Garland's stuff for the most part. I just never got around to it. And enough people said like meh or actively wasn't good that
Yeah, it's a real missed opportunity.
Yeah. Talk about a movie that like is inappropriate for a man to be directing, if I understand that movie well enough.
No, I don't think it's bad necessarily for a man to direct it. I just think it's bad for him to do it. I just don't think it's just not a very good movie.
Yeah, I don't really know much. Somebody just described it as like A24, but all men are the bad guy.
Basically, yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I'd rather hear the woman's take on that, to be honest. I'm not trying to be like, woo.
No, fair enough. It's just, it's more just like there's an interesting idea there. He just doesn't know how to tell it interestingly.
Yeah. All right. So other than this movie, have you seen or watched or interacted with things recently that you'd like to tell the audience about?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I watched the original Bride of Frankenstein, which is a lot of fun. And then I revisited True Romance recently, which I haven't seen in a very long time, but that was one of my favorite movies when I was younger, and it's still wonderful and awesome, but it's also fun to go back and watch things in a you've changed, the movie hasn't changed, but you've changed.
Yes.
And just like, what the wish fulfillment in that movie is just so wonderful. And then that might be it. I've been watching some old silent films by Ernest Lubitsch, and I watched The Doll, which is somewhat thematically similar in this. It's about a guy, his rich landowning family, young son, old man is dying. Young son is like, I don't want to get married, runs away to join a monastery. And the dad's like, wait, come back. I'll give you $300,000 if you're 300,000 francs, whatever. If you come back, it's all fine. Just, you got to get married. And the monks at the monastery are like, no, you got to go back. We want the money. Then you can split the money with us. And they're like, here's a guy that makes life-like dolls. Go marry his doll. And then we can just pocket the money and you don't got to worry about it. But then the doll who's in the doll maker has made in the shape of his daughter to look like his daughter, gets broken. And so his daughter fills in as the doll. The guy marries his daughter, and then hilarity ensues.
Wow.
But it's fun. It's fun. It's very whimsical and has a lot of neat sight gags. And I recommend it. And it's real short. One. Yeah. It's only 100. It's only like an hour and 4 minutes. So,
so very quickly, within the last year, I revisited Natural Born Killers, which is kind of True Romance. Natural Born Killers, I feel like they're like somewhat of a piece. And really interesting to revisit that as a grown-ass man. Nothing to say about it, just interesting at whatever age I'm not admitting on the show. So watching wise, and I was going into this with full, I'm going to make fun of this. This is so stupid. There's no chance it's going to be good, but Spider Noir is fucking great. Okay. It's so fun. Like Nicolas Cage, and it's just Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage, but like it hits this, like, it's not that he's having fun with it that people say when he's going nuts. I think he's genuinely enjoying his acting process. It's like it's not that he's having fun. It's like, I feel like I'm watching a man like do what he's put on this earth to do. Like, and I don't think anybody else could do that role. And it's not the show's relatively solidly put together, but you know, it's a Spider-Man show that can't say the word Spider-Man. You know, they can't call him Peter Parker because Sony owns the rights to like chunks of Spider-Man, but can't say yada yada, etc. But like honestly, really had fun with it. The kind of the secondary cast is really solid. It's just it's a lot better than it has really any right to be for, you know, an Amazon Prime show, you know, in the, you know, from a cut rate Spider-Man.
I started it. I didn't get that far into it, and my main thought was, man, he's old.
You do have that thought quite often during that. Yes, true, but there's nothing he can do about that.
That's not a knock on them on the show itself. That's just was my reaction. I need to go back and finish the first episode, but
yeah, I really like it. Everywhere it goes is really interesting. I don't really see it coming. Like it's pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard it's fun. Yeah, nice.
I watched it in color. You can watch it in color, black and white. The color is graded to be like one of those like ultra like 1950s like spectra color, like that. Like we just figured out color, so everything's gonna be as colored as you could fucking color something. Like you can. Oh, you think that's red? No, I'm gonna fucking show you red, whatever that's called.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard the black and white looks wonderful. Like the black and white tone, it's supposed to be like spectacular. It looks like an actual genuine. But
that's when I started watching it in the black and white, and they kind of made it really a pain in the ass to get to. But I found the black and white, and I started watching the black and white, and it was bugging me a little bit because it's still very much a modern show. Just the framing of shots, just the sensibilities of it, still very modern. So I was fighting against that a little bit, and I just need to let that go and just watch it for what it is.
The more what I was looking at and what people were reacting to is like they managed to get like when you film in black and white, sometimes you'll paint someone's face green to get it right. It felt like they did that. Like they understood how to make black and white work. The only thing is, and the reason I'm going into this like detailed thing about black and white versus color, not to spoil anything, but obviously there's going to be bad guys in this show. The bad guys apparently they're what they do looks better in color. Just to give everybody their options, because this is one of those rare like kind of hard recommends. Like I don't think everybody's gonna like it, but like give it a couple episodes. Like there's something, I think it's honestly like kind of something special. You get to watch like this comic nerd actor finally get to do like a heady comic book thing where he gets to like sit in the character and do weird slow stuff, and it was fun to watch. And so John, real quick here, because it took us in upwards of 6-7 seconds, and you're like, hey, I've got a great idea of what movie we should watch. Why don't you just tell the audience?
Absolutely. It did not take days to figure this out. So everyone in America has got backrooms fever. Everyone loves being in the back rooms. But what about in other parts of the world? What are some other crazy places you could get stuck at? So to answer that, we thought we'd check out Exit 8, a Japanese movie based on a video game about getting trapped in a repeating subway tunnel, among other things. I'm sure there's more to it than that. But yeah. Exit 8.
Yep, sounds good. Looking forward to it, and we will see you upon a fortnight. Good evening.
Good night.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. He did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrodes. They did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker 5. They played the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They played the monster mash. Out from his coffin, Drac's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?" It's now the monster mash. And it's a graveyard smash. It's caught on in a flash. It's now the Monster Mash. Now everything's cool, Drax a part of the band, and my Monster Mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent you. Then you can Monster Mash and do my graveyard smash. You'll catch on in a flash. Then you can Monster Mash.